Hello everyone, I am Hassan El Musa. This is a case study in ethics. We will cover the tragedy of Hyatt Regency Hotel walkway collapse. This case will stay as a warning for the civil engineers over the course of history. We will cover the case in terms of ethics, but before that we will cover the causes of the disaster and its outcomes. And then we'll cover some ethic principles. The Hyatt Regency Hotel walkway disaster. The disaster took place at a hotel in Kansas City, Missouri, US on July 17, 1981. The disaster claimed the life of 114 people and injured at least 216 when two walkways collapsed within the hotel. The countdown to the disaster. The hotel construction began in May 1978, and this 40-story building opened its doors to the public in July 1980. There were many setbacks during the construction of the hotel. However, one major setback was the dramatic collapse of the atrium roof when connections failed on the northern end of the building. The hotel was one of the cutting edge in civil engineering during its time. The lobby was one of the hotel's defining features and included multi-story atrium spanned by elevated walkways suspended from the ceiling. The steel, glass, and concrete construction walkways connected the second, third, and fourth floor north to south within the hotel. The design was the fourth level walkway to be directly above the second level walkway. Then what happened? At the time of the disaster, there were 1,600 people gathering for a tea dance party. At around 7 p.m., 40 people at 7 p.m. the second level walkway had 40 spectators. Third and fourth level walkways held 16 and 40 people each. As you will see, this way the number of people in these walkways exceeded the weight allowed for these walkways. During the construction there were changes to the original plan. The original plan called for six steel hanger rods to run directly from the second floor walkway to the ceiling for support. This plan required the rods to be screw-threaded to hold the fourth floor walkway in place. But the steel contractor opposed this plan and suggested that a set of tie rods that connected the fourth floor walkway to the ceiling and the separate set that connected the second floor walkway to the fourth walkway. These changes were enough to undermine the safety of the structure. The rods carried more weight and stress as a result of the rod design. At the end, the connections failed, and the fourth floor and second floor bridges plunged to the floor of the crowded atrium below, crushing people to death. The rescue efforts. The rescuers arrived at the scene to be faced with the challenging situation. The rescuers upon arrival were faced with 60-ton pile of steel, concrete, and glass encasing the victims. Large sections of the collapsed walkways were so heavy that cranes were needed to move them. Falling bridges weren't the only issue. The damaged sprinkler system gushed water into the atrium. The systems were supplied from the tanks instead of being connected to the city system, which made them hard to be shut off, and trapped people under and put them in danger of being drowned. Who was responsible for this disaster, or what are the causes of the disaster? The investigators found that the Tyro designs were to be blamed, as the original design abandoned. Walkways were originally designed to be suspended from the atrium on continuous routes, which had been changed and proved to be a critical error. The new design was to include two sets of tie rods instead of continuous ones. The plan was to make the fourth floor beams support weight of both the fourth floor and second floor walkway. However, the investigator found that the investigators found that no calculations or there was poor communication between the parties, which played major part in the disaster, as many changes were confirmed over the phone rather than checking the documentation or the calculations or doing any calculations. In addition, the investigators found that poor design was made to reduce. Now we'll check how the parties involved in this disaster acted in ethical terms. We'll start with the principle of utility. The principle of utility that states that in our action we need to consider the consequences of our decisions in terms of making a great impact or creating great happiness and reducing pain when we make decisions. This principle was violated in this case, as it is found from the investigation that people who made the changes to the original plan didn't make any efforts to avoid the deadly consequences of their poor design, or didn't even think of the consequences, as no further calculations made prior to the changes that lead to killing and injuring hundreds of people. And the second counts categorical imperative. Categorical imperative states that the most important thing is to take the right action, or to make the right decision, no matter what the consequences are. And in many cases, the right decision will lead to good consequences. From the investigations, the people who made the changes to the original plan didn't take the right actions to prevent the disaster, as they broke the CVT measures that were set with the original plan. These changes violated categorical imperative, as is found were not the right actions to be made. Now we come to the golden rule. The golden rule states that do to the people as you wish them to do, as you wish to be done to you. This rule was violated in this case, as is found from the investigation that people who made the decision to change the design didn't think of the consequences of their decisions, and didn't try to put themselves in in the place of the people who will attend that kind of gathering and find themselves in the situation they were getting injured or being killed. So in this case, people didn't follow the golden rule, and if they did, and they followed the safety rules and thought about the consequences of their actions, they might have been able to prevent the disaster. Now we come to the constructions, to the conclusion, and we'll check the loyalties of the people. The first thing to mention is that the contractors were loyal to their own interests and to their employers, as they were trying to reduce costs and ignore making any efforts to prevent the disaster. Here, there are some lessons to be learned for civil engineers, that cutting costs and ignoring the safety of the people may lead to deadly consequences and major damages to their professional careers, as was found that many of these who engaged in this project, or who were engaged, who were involved in this disaster, lost their licenses.